So today, Moose and I, we're heading into the print shop to work on a poster. And as you can tell by the title, we're going to do something cool. We're going to recreate wood type using a laser cutter. So a lot of the time when you're working with wood type, you'll find that you just don't have all the characters that you need. And I'm working on reprints of the Skateboarding Saves posters, and you'll see right here when I realize I'm missing both an A and an S. So how exactly are we going to recreate these? Well, first we need an impression. And we're going to get that impression using the 1895 C&P Pilot Press. Now it's important that we get a solid, good, black impression because ultimately that's what we're going to scan into the computer and then send to the laser cutter. Okay, now we have our good impression. We're going to take this image and scan it into the computer. Once it's in the computer, we're going to make it a negative. Once we have the negative, we're going to reverse it. And that's because you'll see the type in the background is reversed. When we print it, it'll become right reading. Now the black, that's what gets burned away by the laser. So you can see this cavity here will be burning that away. And this beautiful piece of walnut hardboard is what we'll be burning onto. We'll put a protective film on the front and then we'll burn away that image. So let's get this over to the laser cutter and start the job. And now this is pretty cool. The laser's doing its thing. It's cutting out the outline of our type blocks. Then it's going through and it's removing all of that negative material. And you can see clearly here how that protective film, it's really doing its job. Now that we have our faces from the laser cutter, we need to mount them onto wood to make them type high. So I'm going to mount it onto this other piece right here. And it's going to get us pretty close. So chop saw. So these are going to look pretty good. They're going to match up pretty close to 0.918 inches. And that's type high. So first thing we need to do is just clean it up a little. Then we're going to use contact cement to adhere this face onto the wood blocks that we just cut. And I'm going to spread the glue onto both surfaces, wait for them to dry just slightly, and then they should really hold together well. So now that they're ready to go, the last thing to do is to peel off that protective film that we put on. Now check it out, they look pretty darn good. But once you get them on the caliper, you can see we've got a little play. So we're going to add some chipboard to the back. That gets us even closer, but not quite close enough. So once the chipboard's on, I'm just going to pack the back with a little extra tape. And that gets us pretty much right on. Now that's exciting. We've got our two new characters. So I'm going to go ahead and lock up the form and take it on over to the press. I'm going to get a test impression to see if I need to make any adjustments in my letter spacing or packing of the letters. So we'll get some ink on there, run the test print, and see what our next step is. And that's our test print. Right off the bat, I know that we need to add some padding to the A and the S, but I'm also looking at the letter spacing. There's kind of some larger gaps and then some tightness between some. Between the A and the V here, there's nothing we can do, so it's kind of our baseline. I'm going to get these things sorted out and then get it back on the press. Wow, I gotta say, I'm super happy with how this turned out. And it was actually a really fun experiment in typography. I mean, when you think about it, we used a laser to make something to print on a press that's over 100 years old. And if you ask me, that is super cool.